type of country you are likely to fight over, the continent. It will be mainly farmland, open, rolling ground divided by hedges, dikes, ditches, and fences of wood or wire. There will be rivers to cross, wide rivers, deep rivers, shallow rivers. There will be valleys of smooth grass or broken by boulders, wide valleys between ridges or narrow gullies. There will be streams winding gently through fields or raging between rocky walls. There will be woods, close or sparse, copses or forests. Each feature presents the soldier with a different cover problem. For each type of cover, movements have been devised which should be practiced by every soldier. First, take the case where you're moving across open country. The principle to remember is keep erect. If there's no cover, then there's no point in crouching. You look just as conspicuous and get very much more tired. The ostrich walk prevents you seeing, makes you feel that the other fellow's got the advantage, and you offer just as big a target for an enemy bullet. So, walk upright. That's the idea. You'll observe better, too. Let's look at cover where you can't walk upright, say 3 to 4 feet high. For this, the monkey run. See first how it goes without weapons. On soft ground, use your fists, but on hard ground, use the open hands. You can get quite a good speed up with this movement. Now see how it's done when carrying a rifle. The rifle is carried in one hand, but leading, bolt uppermost. Don't carry it like this, with the muzzle leading, or else you'll get the muzzle and the working parts filled up with dirt. For the same height of cover when handling a Bren, use the Duffield's crawl. This can be done in 2 ways. First, like this, with the left forearm supported on the knee, helping to take the weight of the Bren. In the second variation of the Duffield crawl, the Bren is carried in the right hand. Extra support can be got by resting the thumb on the knee. If you like, you can use both, giving each arm a rest in turn. When cover is about 2 feet high, use the crawl. Here you see it done when carrying a rifle. Note that it's held in the left hand at the point of balance under the body and is kept clear of the ground. Here is a demonstration by a Bren team. Now and again, you may find it handy to share the load between numbers 1 and 2. The Bren is held sideways, and both men crawl together. The important thing to note is that the inside arm and leg of each man must move together, rather like a 3-legged race. Another way is to carry the Bren pointing forward, number 2 leading, and number 1 holding the butt. Again, inside arms and legs move at the same time. In still lower cover, such as this, use the leopard crawl. See it done without weapons. Points to note are the head position. Keep your head low, although you must be able to observe beneath the rim of the helmet. But most important, keep your legs flat. You can get a rest by using just one leg to push yourself forward and dragging the other one behind, like this. This is wrong. It's what happens if you don't keep your leg flat. That'll be the end of that match. Now see how it's done with the rifle. Hold it with the left hand under the barrel, the right hand over the butt. The aiming position can be reached very quickly if your hands are right. Here's another method used by the Russians. In this, you hold the rifle by the upper sling swivel, and the rifle rests on your forearm. The Russians, by the way, won't pass any man out of their training depots until he can crawl with his rifle 1,000 yards without fatigue. Could you do that? With the Bren, it's the same as with the rifle in the first method, except that here you hold both hands beneath the weapon. Same thing with the mortar, open to 90 degrees and ready for instant action. Another way of moving when in low cover is to roll. This is the most valuable movement when speed is essential. This is how it's done. See it again in detail. As a rule, the rifle is held on the right side, but whichever side you hold it on, note that your hand must protect the working parts, and the rifle must be held inside the arm to keep it away from the ground. And keep your heels down. The roll is often the quickest method of getting away from a spot where the enemy has seen you, and especially valuable when you're on a slope. You may tend to get a bit dizzy at first, but that'll soon wear off with practice. For night movement, balance, as well as silence, is essential. So practice by day until you can move without being heard. This is the ghost walk. At night, silence is far more important than speed. Lift the legs high to avoid the noise made by sweeping them through grass, and move them outwards in a circular motion, knees slightly bent. Feel gently with the toe for twigs or leaves, and make sure that one foot is safe before the next one moves. Keep a hand out in front of you. It'll help you to balance and prevent you from bumping into things. Silence can only be achieved by perfect balance. You must be able to freeze at any instant. Watch this. Stop! Here you see a demonstration of the catwalk, and although it's rather slow, it's very sure. The hand moves first, searching the ground to see that there are no twigs to crackle. Then, the knee is put down on the spot where the hand was, and the hand moves forward again. Right hand, knee. Left hand, freeze. All clear, so off again. If there are twigs or leaves on the ground, the normal crawl would create noise, so the kitten crawl is used instead. It's the slowest of the lot, but absolutely silent. This is a night movement of the greatest value, for when very close to the enemy, the slightest sound would give you away. For the kitten crawl, the whole body is raised off the ground, supported by the forearms and the toes. First, feel out a good position for the hands. taking care to remove any twigs or dry leaves likely to crackle. Then, feel carefully for a good toe hold. Now, on elbows and toes, lift the body forward and lower it gently. Then, feel out the next position for the hands. This method is very slow and tiring and requires a good deal of practice. Again, it's essential to maintain perfect balance and be able to freeze at the slightest hint of danger. And here's another movement you've simply got to learn: doubling. Some of you may look on it as a damn nuisance in training and not see the reason for it. Here is the reason. In battle, when the bullets are flying, no matter what you're carrying, your lives may depend on it. Doubling gets you used to moving at speed. It helps to make you fit, and you can't have staying power unless you are really fit. Not only must you have speed, you must be in a condition to fight when the objective has been reached. The Germans do it, the Russians do it, and so do we. Success in battle depends on fitness, and the foundations of fitness are laid during training at home. So, double for victory.